Hey everyone, this is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion. I am so excited because today I finally have a man in the building. Woohoo! And his name is Bobby Brown. Not every little step I take, but an awesome father in Inglewood. I'm just really excited to have you here, Bobby.
Thank you. Thank you. It's exciting to be here.
Yes.
Very exciting to be here.
Yes. I wanted you to share your story with our viewers, you know, kind of like taking them back to memory lane, like where were your parents born and raised? Where were you born and raised, and things of that nature?
Beautiful. I like this. Deep cutting.
Yes, yes.
I was born and raised in the San Fernando Valley, just a little suburb in Los Angeles. I don't know if it's a suburb, but Valley in Los Angeles. My parents met in Dallas, Texas. Half black, half white. My biological father was never around consistently.
Yes.
So I had a stepfather from 5 on, who was very present, showed me what hard work looked like and all that good stuff. My mother had her first child when she was 15, who was my brother. My grandparents adopted him, so he's legally my uncle, I guess.
Yeah, legally, right? Your uncle brother. Sound like some Creole stuff.
Yeah. So I was pretty much raised only child, which, you know, comes with its own set of circumstances and outcomes. Went to high school out there, played basketball, got into poetry after high school. So I did the spoken word thing, traveled, did some poetry events. School wasn't for me. I did not take the school route. Got into corporate America when I was 20. Started in the financial services then, in the mailroom, bottom, and kind of worked my way up in there. And I started to develop a hunger for wanting to help people in the finance world.
Yes.
Kind of bridge the gap of the wealth discrepancies between Black and brown communities and the corporations that I was part of. So I got my licenses, did all that good stuff. Had my first son when I was 24. Yeah, wow. Yeah, 20,
He's at 24.
And then kind of built my career at that point. I knew at that point, all right, I need to do some things.
Because now you're a father, so it's a different kind of responsibility, right?
Yeah. It's you know, I've recently heard this quote, like, a man, you don't become a man until you start to be responsible for other lives.
Oh, yes.
And, you know, I've been a father for about 10 years now, and I heard that quote last week, and I was like,
wow.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
So, you know, financial services, financial advisor by trade. I've been doing that for about 14 years.
So you have a securities license?
Securities licenses, 7, 66, 65, my insurance licenses, all that good stuff. But I had a nonprofit for financial literacy. I co-founded it with my brother, Dominique Jordan. And we would bring financial literacy to high school.
Yes.
And for the students, because that's just not taught, especially where we're from. And the biggest thing I saw was that parents wanted to learn these things because they were never taught these things. So that gave me a whole different perspective on, you know, trying to empower the youth, but also empower our peers and people who we are around day to day. Yes.
So do you still have your license active to be able to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so my licenses are still active.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm still with a firm. I've been with the firm that I'm with for about 3 years now. I have a team over there. Great team. You know, that's all fine and dandy. But my passions now have been more community-based, community-driven, passion-driven. My wife and I really are instilling in our children. I have 4 children now. You know, live the life you want to live. Do things that you're passionate about. Do things that breathe life into you and that put you in a position to breathe life into other people. So corporate America and me, we're tied together, but I'm doing it very,
Part time?
No, it's a full-time gig, but yeah. So right now, part-time. There's a lot of other things happening right now.
Yes.
But it's very much unorthodox, the relationship I have with corporate America.
Okay.
So throughout my fatherhood journey, I realized I needed some type of support. My mother-in-law runs the only Black-owned birthing center in Los Angeles, and she's always had a lot of mother support groups and support groups for young children, but nothing for fathers. So when I decided that I actually needed some type of support and some type of support group, I went looking, couldn't find it. So I started my own father support group, Donuts with Dads, and that kind of opened my reality to more of that passion-driven life. So that's where I'm at now, just doing more passion-driven, focused things, and making sure my life, my calendar, my day-to-day is filled with things that I want to pour myself into.
Which is being productive. Right?
Yeah, being very productive for things I care about.
I know you said you were looking for like a support system and everything, but what does your nonprofit consist of? Yes, there's fathers involved, but what does it consist of?
So we, on a operational level, we meet virtually once a week, Saturday mornings, 9 to 12. We went virtual because of COVID.
Yes.
We're staying virtual. We're always gonna have a virtual aspect because now we have people who have moved from. This was an Inglewood-based organization, and now we have people all across the country because COVID allowed it to be normalized.
Yes.
So we do that once a week. We do vision board workshops a couple times a year. We do fire burning ceremonies where we're releasing and letting go of things. We focus on healing trauma. We challenge each other through working out or dieting, fasting, whatever it is that we feel like we need. It's very important that we are vulnerable and open with each other so that we know how to hold each other accountable.
Yes.
I know what your goals are so that I can help you achieve those goals. That's the whole purpose of the vision board workshops and doing them in a collective setting. So it's all about, fathers showing up for themselves and for each other. And by showing up, I mean showing up, being present with intention. We have some fathers who come and they don't stick around because it's not really what they're looking for, and that's good, right? It's like God's protection or rejection is God's protection.
Yes.
And it's one of those things. It's like, all right, you tried it, this wasn't for you, and honestly, we don't want to give our energy to those that don't want to give it back.
Yes.
So that's what we are. The people that I've come across are now some of my best friends. They're the ones who push me the most, who have taught me the limits of my potential and showing me how to break through these glass ceilings and to keep going. And they're some of the most impactful and influential people I've met.
And it's so funny how women, we always say we need a tribe, right? And it's beautiful to see a father creating a tribe, for the masculine, right? For the man.
Yeah.
And it's very important because sometimes, fathers have to kind of play the role that they say that is for a mom, right? Because the mom is working, or sometimes you have these awesome fathers that are like, look, go take a break, go get your toes done, your nails done, your hair done, or a massage while I watch the kids, And so I really think that's really awesome to have a platform for fathers, number one. Now here goes the storyline. So I'm driving in Inglewood, passing out my lawn signs. And I see this guy that kind of looks related to some of my family on my Creole side. And I'm driving and I'm like, and I reverse back. Oh, Bobby Brown, okay. And so I took a picture and I went on the, Instagram, and I seen your platform. So it was for me nice to see a new face, young person that can carry on this position of council member for a long time. You know what I mean? So how did that come about? You say, you have a father's, program, you're in financial service, you do other things. And then where was that epiphany of, I'm going to run for office?
So this was always something my wife and I talked about,
Mhm.
being in the political realm. She always said, "You're going to be something in politics. This is that." I'm big into human design, learning more about my gene keys, which is just more about how I can flow through life effortlessly and with ease. And part of my human design suggested careers is political work, and I didn't know all that until after I decided to run. So in our community, the North Park community of Inglewood District 2, we do an Easter potluck.
Mm-hmm.
So we had our huge Easter potluck, and one of my best friends, campaign manager now, Aviv Grill, started this rumor that I was going to be running for city council. So everyone's coming up to me, congratulating me on my running and this and that. I'm like, what are you talking about? What's going on? So he kind of motivated me to do it. So I took the next month and a half, 2 months to really, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And part of me doing that was my initial reaction. So my initial reaction to it was like, what do you mean? That's such a huge stage. I could never be on that stage. What are you talking about? You're running a city. I can't be somebody who's a leader for the city.
Yeah.
That's meant for the people who are in place right now, not really understanding what was going on in Inglewood.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to deep dive into it, researched, the corruption in Inglewood, the history of Inglewood, the past election results, seeing that the incumbent has gone unopposed. He's never really had to do a campaign before. He's only secured when he went unopposed, he secured less than 1,000 votes, and the voter turnout and all this stuff about Inglewood, and realizing, okay, there's a real pathway to win. Why do I want to do this? I'm not big on doing ego-driven things.
Yes.
I hate about me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the self-fulfilling lifestyle is not one for me. I like to be about others. That's my whole life. Making life easier for other people is my mantra in the morning. Doing whatever I can to fulfill that. So once I saw there was a pathway, and I realized, okay, is this something people need? Is there a way to actually help people? Saw that there was, and with the support of my family and my friends, which was a whole another thing, I'm like, okay, do people even believe in me that I can do that? Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Once you claim it and you show that there's passion and purpose behind it, people are all for it. And realizing that, name recognition is a big thing in our community, but people don't really like the people who are in leadership right now. People are not fond of the people who are in control of Inglewood right now.
Especially when they've been there so long, though, to where they're so comfortable. And I feel like sometimes in politics, it's okay to stay in a mayor position, right? Or let's just go from the beginning. A person can run for school board, stay there for 5 years, right? And then they can come into council, right? To be a council member, stay there for 5 years, then go ahead for the mayor position, right? And then after they're done with mayor, they can go higher and higher and higher to grow. So then you can help your county or city continue. Yes, exactly. And so when somebody's just sitting there reaping the rewards and Inglewood is not benefiting from it, a lot of people, like last night at a community meeting, was like, well, how are we in debt in 2021, 12 million, and now currently we're in 28 million in debt? Like, how is that possible? We thought that bringing the Rams here and the Clippers would give us more money to get us out of debt. And so I feel that at this time, in this shift, 2023 is a shift of change. You know what I mean? I sound like a vampire when I say new blood. But yeah, you need new blood, like new faces, new people with new energy, people that really actually care about the community and not their pockets, the community, right? And how can everybody benefit? And so I was very, excited to have had a good outcome when we met for coffee. And it felt like you were like a relative. So I felt totally comfortable.
Right.
Like, if you can run for office and you can feel like a relative, this is the type of person I would want to see,
Right.
in the meetings at 7 p.m.
Yo, that's
yes, the
we'll get into
changing
that.
shift.
That's a whole
The
thing
changing
too.
shift
Yeah.
at 7 p.m. Allowing people to talk, and allowing to actually do our jobs and saying, this is the updates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really talk about the community and what they need and things of that nature. So what is your vision? Because I'm putting out in the universe. So when you're in office, when they elect you to be council member, November 8th, 2022, what is your vision and goals for your district?
So, my immediate community, North Park, is a community of individuals and families that look out for each other, show up for each other, care about one another, genuinely love each other, very welcoming, look out beyond just, hey, I see your kid riding his bike, he's safe. I'll get those calls, which is great. But my goal for District 2 is to bring my community and expand it throughout District 2, expand that energy throughout Inglewood. Yes. And to really give everybody there the feeling and the sense of belonging and of being at home. I don't think there is a strong connection between our constituents right now and the incumbents because they don't represent the people that are in Inglewood and coming to Inglewood. And people who have been in Inglewood are now open to something different. Yes. They are tired. Yes. And I think that having this new wave of energy with all these candidates that are coming is exciting. It's part of the transformation of Inglewood. Yes. I think it's part of the organic development of, hey, you brought all these big businesses here, and great, thank you. You didn't do it transparently, but thank you. Yes. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to have this chance to build with what is here. But I think it does for the next steps, for the healthiest next steps, the organic next steps, new leadership needs to be in place for that. Yes. And back to your point of people with no term limits, and there's not a recipe for accountability. It's not a recipe for vulnerability. And I think these things all need to be carried by people who are in leadership. Yes. Like, you can't be a leader and not be vulnerable. It doesn't work. If I'm overly confident and my ego is in everybody's face all the time,
it's a turnoff.
Not only is it a turnoff, but there's no way for, it's not approachable, and there's no way for me to trust you. Yes. Because if everything is so easy all the time, why do we need you? And I know it's not easy all the time. So I plan on being very transparent, very vulnerable, and very authentic to the point of a fault maybe. But that's how I show up in everything that I do. I don't hide anything. I'm an open book. My wife might not like that all the time, but that's who I am, and that's what I show up as. Yes. And I think that is important in order for the people you're speaking with to feel like they can be that way as well. And for Inglewood to grow and to become what it can become, you need them to genuinely show up authentically and to speak what it is that they truly want and need.
So what, like, going canvassing and door knocking, what are the things that your community have said their concerns were, and how will you address them? Like, how would you help fix it or try to fix it, right?
Yeah. So it depends which block you walk down or which pocket you're in. So closer to home, cars speeding, doing donuts, street takeovers type things. We don't want speed bumps because of the emergency vehicles, but we need something. And I think that is all rooted. All these issues that I'll touch on are rooted in the community not being as connected as it can be. So more community events, more educating the public, more financial literacy, just because it's a Wednesday, and then bringing this to the you tax season, you need help with taxes. Hey, we have a couple CPAs coming out. So kind of building the community around being vulnerable. Like what is it that you need? What is it that you need help with? And I think if we have more of those open forum talks, all of these issues, like little issues, will not become such big issues, right?
Yeah.
So things like that, things like the speed bump stuff, people not really understanding what we're voting on, why we're voting on it, and how we're voting on it. Kind of cleaning up the jargon, right? The Airbnb thing is a hot topic.
Yes, it is.
Which my job isn't to. I'll share my opinion, but that's not. I'm not going to vote just based on my opinion. That's not my job. My job would be to advocate for the voices that I'm hearing, and then bringing that to the council and having an open discussion.
Yes, I agree.
There's no debating right now on our council.
Yes.
What the mayor wants, the mayor gets.
Yes.
And the mayor wants whatever the big donors want. I mean, people not understanding our election process and the unique rules to Inglewood politics, I'm realizing people aren't aware of them, but once they become aware of them, that then becomes an issue that they want to talk about. We can receive up to $100,000 per individual donor. Nowhere else in California is that the rule. Yeah. Federally, that's the max. Come on.
Yeah.
Karen Bass can't receive that right now.
Yes. And you know what's so crazy too? Somebody had mentioned something about the property taxes being higher than Hawthorne and Torrance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, people are trying to move to the suburbs of the nice areas of Torrance, Hawthorne.
Yeah.
But Inglewood, we haven't fully arrived yet. But then we are having these high taxes.
As if we were already there.
Yeah.
And I think it's the first 6 months to 9 months of the job will be learning the ins and outs of the job, right? And I'm vulnerable with that. I'm open with that. I let people know that. I'm not coming in knowing, hey, I can do this job the best way possible. I know I can learn to. So understanding what these taxes are and these hidden pockets and these little caveats that weren't shared transparently when people were voting to have SoFi come, now understanding that there's a 6-year, $100 million tax break that they're getting. Like, people not understanding these things. And that out of fear, I think if people knew those things, these things wouldn't get voted on the right way.
Correct.
Which maybe those developments then don't happen, which so be it. If that's not what the people want, that's the whole point of being a leader in relation to a city. Another thing I hear about is we touched on it a little earlier, council meetings being at 2:00 on a Tuesday. Yes,
that's insane because people work.
Most people work. 63% of the residents in Inglewood are renters. They work. They work.
Yes.
That's crazy. We need a clean slate so that we are not, our residents are not wasting their energy digging through legal cases of our leadership and the ins and outs of the distrust between our residents and the leadership. Those things what? How are we, it seems like we're in a movie, like it's Gotham City or something, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I think a clean slate is needed. That's something that I do hear all the time. People are ready for that energy shift. People who I've met who are very strong supporters of the incumbent have changed their mind just because they have an option, they have a choice. They've never had that before. In the past decade, they have not had a real choice for my seat specifically, from our district specifically. So learning that they have a choice. If I wasn't running, he'd be going unopposed again.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
And, the fact that he's already raised $250,000 from January to June.
For a councilman.
For a council seat, expecting to go unopposed.
It's like, is there a hidden agenda underneath that,
So, and I think we could get into all of that, but I think there is that lack of transparency. And it's a hot topic word when it comes election time, and there's always that want and opportunity for more transparency.
Yes.
But true transparency in Inglewood is not existent, and it's needed now more than ever because we're at a breaking point of where we can't expand too big at this point, and then the people can lose control, and then it's just these big corporations running the city for a long time. But where we are, our population, we have a chance for the people to actually have a voice and take that power back, and have leadership that wants them to have that power. Like, I don't want to be a city councilman forever. Like, that's not my goal. Like, I want there to be 5 or 6 people coming for my seat next term. Like, tell me how you can do it better. Show me how you can do it better, and then do it better. Like, I don't plan on being here for
20 years.
That's not the goal. Like, not that I don't want to serve the community. I'm always going to do that. I'm doing that now.
As you grow, you have to keep moving.
Yeah.
You have to keep moving. So, as a future council member, what is your strong why for this seat in this position?
As opposed to the seat in general, or
just separate, like not dad, not yourself, just as a councilman. You know, what is your strong why in this position?
My strong why is to bring real representation to the district and to be an advocate for the district and to amplify the voices there. I hate the term.
I love that voice. I mean, I love that ending because now I kind of use your stuff. And every time I use it, I say, Bobby Brown said this.
Yeah, no, it's
because
real.
I always say I want to be the voice of the community because they feel, especially the Latinos, they say, we don't have a voice. I'm like, yeah, you guys do. But when I heard you say, I want to amplify their voice because you guys have a voice, but I'm going to amplify it.
That's it. I'm going to bring it to the stage. Wow. I'm going to use my platform.
So I've been using that because
Please do.
I surely just it opened my eyes differently.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is powerful.
I went to shout out Gen Z for the Amplify term. I went to this When We All Vote conference, which is Michelle Obama's foundation, a couple months back, and these Gen Zers were up there and talking about how they need their leadership and their politicians and their local leaders to amplify the voice, not give us a voice. We have a voice, but to amplify it. I was like, yes,
powerful.
That's exactly what our job is in leadership, especially in politics, is to amplify what these people are telling me. If I'm giving you a voice, then I'm not listening to you. I'm giving you what you need. I'm giving you the voice. Like, no, you have the voice. I can't take that power away from you. But I can bring it to the table.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. So how can the viewers find you on social media, on Instagram, you know?
Yep. Instagram's the big one for me. Bobby, the number 4, City Council. It's BOBBY, 4 City Council. The father support group is Donuts with Dads. Same thing on Instagram, Donuts with Dads. And, you know, I'm more than happy to have coffee with anybody, have a phone call with anybody, and be of service in any way that I can. My favorite thing to do is to do these mental health check-ins on people. If I haven't spoke to you in 3 years, it doesn't matter. If I have your number in my phone, I randomly go through, I'll pick a number, I'll call and just say, hey, just a mental check-in. So if you want to get in my phone book, let me know, and I'll add you to that list.
Mental check-up, that's right. Well, thank you, Bobby. Is there anything you want to close with purpose and passion before we end our segment?
You need to live life with intention. You need to live life with purpose and with passion. Those things need to guide you. If not, you're going to continue to feel lost, feel depressed. You're not going to find your true happiness, your true potential. You owe it to yourself to show up for yourself. Don't be scared to claim you need your self-care. You need your me time. I'm a father of 4. Me and my wife communicate openly about it. Sometimes we don't understand it, but we trust that you really need it. So don't be scared to follow your gut, follow your intention, listen to the higher source. If that, whatever your God is, whatever your religion is, it's real. You matter. Yeah, man, just fucking be you. I try my best not to curse. I curse a lot.
But you did good.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, you heard Mr. Bobby Brown. So until then, we'll have a part 2 because I know you'll be.
Thank you.
So then, this is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion. Have a blessed day.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient Nasset. Nasset increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.